Welcome back to Have an Opinion. Nick and Kyle back at it again. We said we'd be back around Christmas time when we recorded the Season 4 finale, and you said, I doubt we'll ever see Season 5. It'll never see the light of day. Well, guess what? That's right. We're here. We're talking about Kyle's top 10 movies of all time, my top 100 songs of all time, and the Spotify playlist I threw them in. How did that come about? We're going to bring back a segment from the dead, Instant Opinion. Died in Season 1. How? I'm not sure, because it was pretty cool. And then we're going to talk about our favorite NFL announcers. All of that and more is on the menu. Roll the intro, heads. That intro took 4 takes, by the way. But again, it is Nick and it is Kyle. We're back on the YouTube, Spotify, Apple. However you want to get sound put into your ears, we're doing it.
We're giving it to you.
We're giving it to you. How much has changed in the new year? Well, I am the drink guy right now. Mountain Dew Kickstart in my hand. I normally don't drink things like this. I can tell you another story in a minute. But more importantly, I'm on the internet a lot. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. So far, so good. Nothing major's changed since Christmas. Excited to have some work to get back into as far as opinions go. A couple movie reviews, couple lists, some instant opinions.
There's a lot to dive into.
Excited.
I'm excited. You know, this was a stressful week, work-wise.
It was a long week. Felt long, probably because I knew we were getting together.
Blood work-wise, just a lot of things going on where you're like, I just need to get to Friday and hash out some opinions. I've missed doing podcasts. I've talked about my old job and, you know, how it kind of drained me in the creative aspect, and I wanted to do stuff, but it was like, I really don't have the drive. I've had the drive these last, 3 weeks. I've been like, let's go.
Business.
And then
business is booming.
We've known this was happening for a while, and I was just like, I got to get to it. Like, I gotta talk. And I'm so excited I'm barely forming coherent sentences. But regardless, here we are. But yeah, Mountain Dew Kickstart.
What's the ranking? I usually was the ranker.
I don't drink much stuff like this. So, like I said, but
compare it to other Mountain Dews.
In terms of other beverages, this is like a 7.
Okay.
I was pleasantly surprised. I've probably had these since high school when they came out.
The problem with those,
every couple months, and they're fine.
And there's so many. Remember, because there was Mountain Dew Kickstart, then there was those Game Fuels with the cool tab. Now there's Mountain Dew Rain.
Yeah.
Energy.
Yeah.
And then there's also Mountain Dew plus Amp. I don't know if those are called Game Fuels or what, because there's that cherry one. It's Mountain Dew and Amp, and it's a cherry energy drink.
Yeah.
It's great. It tastes like cherry Game Fuel, if you ever had that. Back when Game Fuel was a flavor, not an energy drink.
I never knew that was the case.
Yeah,
I
you
always
remember
thought it was like the energy drink.
It came in a bottle, like the bottles you would buy, and it would be for new video games. Like Halo had the citrus cherry. There was a blue. I'm kind of well versed in the whole.
Yeah, in the energy drink, my heart's gonna explode category. You're not gonna find a smarter guy than this.
I had a lot of caffeine on the way here today.
Anyway, you're not going to know this, the people listening, but when I sent you the text of other things other than the main movies that we were going to talk about, I said a secret taste test.
You did, and I didn't really pay it any mind. I glossed right over it in my reply, now that I think of it.
I had this plan, and it was good. It was a good one.
Oh, boy.
I don't think there were any real flaws to it. It sounded straightforward, but if that's the biggest, oh no, it didn't work out thing, I'll be pretty happy.
Okay.
Logan Paul and KSI
Yeah.
have that Prime drink.
Yes.
And we're not huge fans of either of theirs. I know we followed the Logan Paul boxing WWE stuff just because it's relevant.
Yeah, right.
Something different in terms of what YouTubers normally do. But I was like, there's so many flavors of this drink. And the Walmart by me has them.
Really? See, that's
I've religiously been seeing at least a couple flavors there. So last night, I get home from dinner with my buddy, and I go to Walmart, and I had to pick up a couple other snacks and stuff just because I'm a little low on rations.
Right.
And so I'm grabbing stuff, and I turn down the energy drink aisle, and there's 3 Red Bulls, some of that Celsius stuff.
Not great.
And Monster.
That was it.
There's
No
nothing
more
where
Prime?
Prime used to be. So that didn't work out. I thought it'd be great. We'd get a couple stragglers who this hits the algorithm somehow,
Sure.
and we get a couple new views, and they go, "Wow, this
Yeah.
kind of stinks," but they drink Prime on it, so we'll see. And
That
yeah,
would
it didn't
have been
work out.
cool. I've seen people doing that before. They'll compare Prime to other stuff because I believe it's non-carbonated. It's like a juice.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always wondered, is it sugar-free?
I don't know,
Because
but
to this day, I've yet to find a sugar-free energy beverage that's good. Like
I-
Bang, Rain, all those. I'm not a fan.
what's that called? Alani Nu, the one that I drank.
Yeah, it was that one
we
you had
drank
us
it
try.
together. That one was sugar free, and the flavor we had that day. If I'm remembering what flavor we had, I know you didn't care for it. And I thought
yeah.
that one was significantly worse than the other one I had.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering that right.
It's tough too because when like all the energy drink companies and stuff were like huge just before the sugar-free kick, there were so many great flavors, and I was like into all of them. And now, well, there's like Fruit Punch Rockstar and Grape Nos are the only ones I go to, and Coconut Red Bull,
Please bring back
Coconut
Cherry
Berry.
Nos.
Wow, I would the amount of money I would pay.
But yeah, I was really hoping we could do that. And
Do they sell it at Sheets? Like if we run to Sheets later?
you know, I didn't even think of sheets. Maybe if we have time tonight, we can take a run, and when we
Let's
record
see.
some more tomorrow, we'll have them, and then this
Yeah.
will all be a thing of the past.
that would have been
But
cool. When you first said that, I was afraid it was going to be like a food item, something I don't eat, and then I'd be like, "Oh, Nick, I don't want to try something I don't like."
I
You know
was
what I
gonna-
mean? Like
I was really excited
burgers
for
or
the,
something that you're not into.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get you a burger, the onion spurs on it and everything. I was really excited. They have like a bomb pop flavored one, you know, the red, white, and blue popsicle.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
the one
like,
everyone talks about.
Unless they absolutely botched that, there's no way that would be bad. So
Right.
I was hoping to
You would-
find that one at least, so there'd be one good one in case it's not good.
Right, and
That-
you would think like a juice would cater to that flavor.
Right.
You know what I mean? Compared to like a carbonated, because there's carbonated ones that are also rocket pop, and I don't think it'd be very good.
You'd think that it would translate well. So
Right.
maybe go to Sheets, see what happens. But
cool.
I've been seeing what happens in terms of Kyle's favorite movies. I watched
Yes.
2 of them. We'll get into that after Kyle tells us what his top 10 movies of all
Sure.
time were. This is something that, we've had some bigger picture ideas that didn't work out, aka
Mm-hmm.
the infamous Star Wars bracket, which when I went home for Christmas was erased. So
Man.
rip to that. 3 years down the line, I really like to think that
That would be a fun
we would have
like.
gotten to that. But
Yeah.
well. But Kyle's top 10 movies.
Yeah.
Kyle's going to do a lot of the talking these next couple episodes, which
Yeah,
I'm sure
right.
is a delight to a lot of you at home. But Kyle, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, being the resident movie guy of Have an Opinion, I appreciate the honor here. So I have a top 10 movie list, and probably just because I am the way that I am, I like to list things. I have a top songs list, which I've saved for maybe another episode. Obviously, this one's going to be your top 100.
This chair will not stay. There we go.
And so basically, I've had this list of top 10 movies with some honorable mentions, and the only thing that changes year to year is the year. So now it's as of 2023. It said as of 2021, I believe, the last time I checked it, because it hasn't changed a whole lot, and which I'll get into that later as far as if I think any of these will ever change. But some honorable mentions first that we can dive into. Dodgeball. Do I have Wedding Crashers on there? I should. As far as comedies, there's only one real comedy on my top 10, just because I think comedy movies are tough to rank in terms of like greatness.
This is a good movie. Yeah.
And it's like, if Wedding Crashers is the funniest comedy you've ever seen, does it really hold up as a movie compared to Shawshank? Which, to be fair, this list, and I'll probably say this 100 times, it's my top 10. I'm not saying that, Jurassic Park is the 8th best movie of all time. It's my 8th
Right.
best
This
movie
is
of
where
all
the
time.
opinion comes
Right.
in the show name.
Right.
We haven't really pushed that too much in terms of ruffling feathers
Right.
these last few episodes.
Yeah,
throughout the
when it
last
comes to
couple
these
years, but
10, I'll take them to the grave with me because they're mine.
Wow.
They're mine.
It's a bold claim for episode 1 of a new season.
Sure. Well, just in case somebody,
Kyle's no stranger to bold claim. No.
I'm trying to think what else I got on here. Dodgeball, Scream, as far as horror movies go, one of the best, kind of revitalized the genre. There's a new one actually coming out next month, I believe, Scream 6. Yeah, they're in New York. I'm nervous, it might be bad. Silence of the Lambs, great. Whiplash, The Departed, Full Metal Jacket, First Blood, which is the first Rambo movie, and then Shutter Island, which was on the list. That is the reason I said that one last. It was on my list. I removed it for Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay.
So starting
I
at
thought Jurassic Park sounded new.
yeah, that one. And to be honest, I've probably sent you this before. We've probably mentioned it before. But yeah, that's the only one that really changed. Since then, the most recent one I believe was The Thing, and that's just because I saw that the most recent out of any of these movies. So number 10, I've got Stand By Me. That one falls into the category of just nostalgia. You know what I mean? I saw it when I was a kid. It's about kids in the 50s. They go looking for a dead body on the railroad tracks. Mm-hmm. It's going to take them a few days to get there, so it's basically this coming-of-age story about, 4 buddies hiking through the woods, doing what kids did in the 50s for fun. And it's great. It's funny. There's an aspect to it that I'll get into. Once I say my 10, I'm going to kind of lay out some ground rules as far as why a lot of these fit. But that's my number 10. And I didn't know if in editing, if you're going to put up, pictures of these movies. I didn't want to rush through movies just to make that difficult on you. Number 9, Shawshank. I think that's one you've seen. I'm not sure.
I've not.
You've not.
You're gonna get angry, and Kyle's gonna get angry hearing the lack of movies I've seen. I've said it before. I'll reiterate because maybe new eyeballs. I do enjoy good movies. Mm-hmm. I'm a really big just background noise kind of person in terms of when I put on a movie.
Sure.
I like to try to find hidden gems like what we did over quarantine with the movie night and stuff. In terms of just sitting down and watching a good movie, I don't know why I don't do it more because I enjoy movies. I enjoy a good TV show. I enjoy a good movie.
Right,
it's just
right.
something I just haven't done it.
And
it's essentially laziness. I'm not afraid to call myself out on that. It's essentially laziness because they've, as much crap as Netflix has gotten lately for it's not as good as it used to be.
Right.
They've done pretty well in terms of keeping good movies on, at least having a few big marquee movies on there, and I'll see them and just be like,
They've put a lot of good movies on Netflix, which is good because for a while there, it looked like Hulu was going to be the TV show network or the streaming platform. HBO was going to be movies, especially all the new movies usually have a contract and they go right to HBO after 28 days, or I forget what the day is. And then Netflix was just kind of like this meh.
Yeah.
Classics you've seen, new shows, and their originals. So yeah, they've stepped it up for sure. Reservoir Dogs, which we're going to get into, that was on Netflix, which is awesome. I'm glad that's still readily available. And also, too, I was hoping, assuming if this becomes a series where you pick movies off my list, watch them, and I get to see what you think. I like to think none of these are going to be like, oh my gosh, why is he making me watch this movie? You know what I mean? They're all going to keep your attention.
I haven't thought that yet, so I don't,
we're 2 for 10.
You. So yeah,
we're 2-0.
The way there.
Yeah, right. We're
2-0.
20%. So number 8, Jurassic Park. Have you seen that one?
I'm not.
Man.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I'm going to have the same reaction to all of them because I love these movies so much.
I was going to go, man, after the next 8 movies.
Yeah, right, we're only on 8. I've said it before, Jurassic Park is what I consider one of the kind of perfect movies. And I don't necessarily mean perfect as in like it's the best ever. I just mean I'd be hard-pressed to find something that's really wrong with it. The science, the dinosaur issue, the way they recreate dinosaurs obviously isn't legit. It's a movie. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like the way the dinosaurs looked isn't like raptors had feathers is what they now believe. In the movie, they look like reptiles. But they came from birds, and so the feathers and all that. But that's little stuff. As far as everything goes, nothing wrong with the movie. It's great. Number 7, Psycho, the one of the first slasher movies, Alfred Hitchcock, black and white. No. There's a famous scene in the movie which I won't give away to you, I guess, because
I think a better way to do this would be I'd tell you if I've seen it rather than me having to answer that shameful tone I've been answering.
Sure. It's great. It's a lady steals money from her boss. She goes on the run, checks into a motel. Have you heard of Bates Motel?
Yes.
Okay, that's where this comes from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a precursor to this. The motel she checks into, the Bates Motel. Norman Bates is the guy. He lives there with his mother. Mm-hmm. And then I won't say any more, but you can tell it's a scary movie. And for 1960, fantastic. I could watch it today. You watch it today, and there's nothing like, oh, that's cheesy or all that. I mean, there's a couple scenes where it's like, all right, that doesn't look the best. But it's not like that episode of The Twilight Zone where they fly past dinosaurs, and you can tell it's a guy with a toy dinosaur. Number 6, Predator. Predators, I want to say another one of them perfect movies. There's not a lot wrong with it that I can find. I should have laid the ground rules as far as why a lot of these movies are up here beforehand, but I didn't, so I'll do that all at the end. There's a common theme with just about every one of these movies except for like maybe one or two. So now we're into the top 5 though. These are the ones that they have not changed as far as like the gap between 6 through 10 and 1 through 5. You know what I mean? There's really no movie in 6 through 10 that's knocking at the door to be ranked 5th.
Okay, so they're solidly in that latter half of your list.
And it probably because of the number 5 movie, which is Clue. That's probably the one I saw on this list when I was the youngest, the most nostalgia. That one's a comedy. Out of all of these, it's probably the least critically acclaimed movie, but it's great. It's funny. We're gonna get into our review, obviously, of why I like it. But it's funny. It's quick-witted. The dialogue's really quick and snappy, and it's a murder mystery, which just in general I love. Like the Knives Out. Did you watch that Glass Onion movie? That just came out?
I was actually gonna bring this up in the Clue one, but since you mentioned it, I'll bring it up now. I have watched a very solid amount of mystery movies these last couple weeks. I watched
Aren't they great?
National Treasure 2 with
I love those
Nick
movies.
Cage.
Those
They're
are just
fun.
I was just gonna say they're just fun. They're
I
fun
saw
to
the
watch.
reviews on both of them were kind of crappy, but they're fun.
Yeah.
You just suspend your belief. I don't think they were made to win Oscars.
No,
They're fun. And that's really all I can say.
that's agreeable.
They keep you
statement.
interested. They keep you entertained. And if it's like, of course that happens, or this isn't really realistic, like he just gets to go in a cave with the president and they just let him do it.
Yeah.
You suspend belief a bit. They're a fun watch.
Mm-hmm.
Watched Glass Onion. This is last weekend, actually, less than a week ago. Thought that was really good.
Yeah.
I don't think it was as great as Knives Out.
You did watch Knives Out?
Yes. Yeah. I actually watched Knives Out about a month and a half ago, and then
Okay.
recently watched Glass Onion. So they're both relatively fresh.
Right.
Mild spoiler, maybe. I saw a lot of people saying Glass Onion's stupid because the whole first hour is a waste, not a wait. And I said, not really. It sets a backstory, then it kind of in the middle flips the script and goes, here's actually what's been going on with this one character.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting. Does it go on a bit too long explaining that
yeah, I
backstory?
think-
That dragged just a bit, in my opinion.
And
But-
it takes a while to get going too.
Yeah, but in a movie like that, I really disagreed with the narrative of, oh, well, the first hour is a waste. It's like, no, because you have an idea of what happened, and then you go, oh, well, if this person's not who they said they were, and then they show you some other things that happen. Like, my first idea is just a complete loss.
Yeah.
You fooled me, and that's what that kind of movie's trying to do.
Yeah, I would say both of them had something like that, whereas like it gave away a twist early that wasn't the twist ending, which is cool.
And, yeah, then obviously watch Clue. So I've watched some really good mystery movies or adventure movies, and it's probably one of my best movie weeks of my life, if not the best. 4 movies already.
Yeah, two of them bangers.
Yeah, at least.
Absolutely.
I liked all of the ones I watched. I'm 4 for 4 in my opinion.
Wendy's.
Just realized that autofocus is on my phone, so the big yellow squares keep popping up every time one of us moves. Sorry to everyone watching. But, oh well. Kyle, carry on.
Yeah, Clue. Great movie. It's an old movie, so I'd recommend it to anybody because it's not as common. You'd probably have to go search it out and find it. It's probably not going to be on TV. Number 4, The Prestige. Now, this is the one movie that kind of breaks the mold of what I think makes a lot of the other ones similar. This one had... It'll be tough to do a review for because it's long. It's Christopher Nolan. He was the guy that did Interstellar, The Dark Knight... Inception. That's the other big one. Inception's the other big one. I think it's his best movie. It's my favorite movie of his. I doubt anybody else would agree with that. It's about 2 magicians, and they're partners, and then they have a falling out because of something that happens, and then they're both trying to one-up each other. Steal this guy's secret. How does he do this trick? Okay, now I'm going to do that trick better. And it just keeps getting, like, more and more devious, the way that they're, like, kind of cutting in at each other.
Right.
And a twist ending that, I mean, almost like not took me off my feet. But I was watching this movie by myself. I got it for Christmas. I was down in the basement. It was the pitch black, and like I was on the couch watching it, and then it started to get into the twist ending, and I had a blanket around me, and I was like, this far from the TV, just locked in.
That's awesome. I feel like that's the movie I've heard you talk about the most.
Yeah, well, that was the one in a group chat with our guys back home. I had lent it to a buddy to watch, and months went by. And then
that was that movie.
Yep. And then he finally watched it, and literally, like, he sent me a text, because, like, every now and then he would be like, hey, sorry, I still haven't watched it, or whatever, you know, he'd bring it up. And then out of the blue, I got a text that was like, wow. And I knew exactly what he was talking about.
No context was needed.
I was like, yep, you bet, wow. The movie's incredible. That's one that, if the next time we do movie reviews, I might suggest. However, I would suggest all 10 of these, so I'm in no rush if we do end up watching them all as episode reviews. The top 3. The Prestige was 3rd. Then I saw The Thing, and I love The Thing. The Thing is probably my favorite horror movie. Obviously, I have it ahead of Psycho. I didn't put Scream on the list.
Women of the Night. You said horror movie.
Good.
Sorry.
I was like,
sorry to everyone.
Psycho?
Sorry to everyone.
No. Very good. The Thing's great. It's these guys are they're all in the U.S. outpost in Antarctica for like science and testing or whatever, and there's the Thing. It's this creature that can perfectly take form of someone, and like right now, if I was the Thing, you would have no idea.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like those people that are obsessed with skinwalkers.
Kind of.
I don't even know what those are. I just see like TikToks of people in the Appalachians or Appalachians, whatever the hell the correct
it's like
pronunciation
they
is.
like look like people,
and they hear
but they're
sounds
not.
at night, and they're like, it's a skinwalker pretending to be a squirrel. And I go, oh, you're not joking.
Yeah, no.
I go, maybe it's my Northwest Pennsylvania
and
upbringing talking.
There is one, I think it's a Fisher cat. There's a cat, and I don't even know if it's a cat. It's just, it's called a Fisher cat, I'm pretty sure. And the noise they make sounds like a woman screaming. So there'll be videos of people like driving by the woods, and you sound like a woman screaming in the woods.
Mountain lions and pumas, I think, are like that. The big cats, I think, kind of make similar sounds.
Yeah, and it's like how would you know until you ran in after it, and then obviously that's where
you don't run after it.
Right.
Maybe that sounds messed up on the premise that maybe it is a woman screaming, but if it's pitch black outside and I hear screaming, I'm just gonna stay inside and let the law handle that one.
True. That's probably what you should do. Great. In terms of like isolation horror, paranoia, how do we know who's who? Especially when games like Among Us, Secret Hitler, games where it's like you gotta. How do you prove you're innocent to someone who's convinced you're not innocent?
Right.
Stuff like that. And it's got practical effects, so there's not a lot of CGI, and they didn't tell the actors what it was going to look like. So the first time they see the monster, it's the first time they've ever seen any of it, so their like fear is genuine. Oh, so good. Yeah, I mean, incredible film. Similar to Clue, nobody liked it when it came out, and then people were like, wait, this movie's actually amazing. And now it's like probably the top 5 horror movies of all time. HORROR. Number 2. And number 2 and number 1, gosh, until we watch number 2 or I rewatch it, I don't know whether to put this at 1 or 2. Number 2 is 12 Angry Men. I'm assuming you haven't seen that one. I don't know if maybe for school you would have had to watch that one. No. It's 12 jurors, basically. Literally, the movie opens with the jurors. The camera pans past all of them. The judge says, all right, your job is to separate the facts, figure out everything. And then, like, they go into the room, and the entire movie is these 12 guys in a room talking. And the premise of the movie, and there's a Family Guy episode based off it, so maybe you're familiar with it. Everybody says guilty except for one dude who says not guilty. So they have to sit there and talk about it.
Sad I knew the Family Guy reference,
right.
But not the movie.
And obviously, with that premise, you can guess how the movie ends type thing, but incredible. I mean, I think IMDb has it ranked as like the 5th best movie of all time. I don't know if that, that's just what they have it ranked. I would say it should be in the top 10. It's so good. I wish I was more well-rounded in movies to explain why stuff is good rather than
well, if we review them, you don't want to tell me like everything that's great about it up front anyway. This is more of a general.
Yeah, that's true. And
here's something I like about it. Here's why it's this high.
Yeah, and
we'll watch them all eventually for this show.
I've probably gone on a bit too long anyway. We can always trim if we have to.
Yeah, I'm gonna speed this up ×2. Actually, the whole thing. It's gonna sound like your mouse talking.
Oh, really?
No,
okay.
I'm kidding.
I was gonna tell you too, especially when we get into the reviews. If I get lengthy, don't be offended to say, or don't think
Hey,
I'll be offended if you say, hey.
Podcast. Nothing wrong with little length.
That's true. I'm
That's
trying to
gonna
make
sound
sure.
really bad if someone clips that. But,
Yeah, I don't know about that
carry
one.
on.
Number one is Reservoir Dogs. That is the movie we reviewed. So we both watched my number 5 and my number 1. Basically, my most nostalgic movie from childhood, and then Reservoir Dogs. That's been number 1 since I saw it. And 12 Angry Men's the closest movie. Like, I watched 12 Angry Men, and the next day I rewatched it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how much I liked it. But as of right now, Reservoir Dogs is number 1. And I'll get into this in the review. I think it's Tarantino's best. It's my favorite Tarantino movie. Probably the best film debut ever. One of the best film debuts ever. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I don't usually talk as much and as fast. It's incredible. The performances, the dialogue. I'm trying to think of what else. The music, maybe my favorite movie soundtrack. I mean, Tarantino's always got great music. It's hidden gems, and you're like, oh, that song's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And this one revolves around a 70s radio station, which is like right up my alley. Yeah. And so the key theme with just about all of these movies, besides probably The Prestige and maybe Shawshank, is it's a small cast. There's not a lot of characters. There's not a lot of sets, right? They're all in one spot. Clue.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I forget how many guests there are, but they're in one house. The Thing is however many dudes stuck in Antarctica in a space, or in a, not space station, in a lab, site. 12 Angry Men, 12 guys in a room, not much bigger than the one we're in.
12 guys a small cast?
In the sense that it's only those 12 talking.
Okay,
There's like
that's
no,
fair.
and then there's a guy who comes in and gives them evidence, and
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't say much.
Okay.
Reservoir Dogs, 6 guys on the job, plus Eddie and Joe and a couple other characters. But the key thing is the main characters do all the talking, and there's not a lot of side characters.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't jumping around. Like, think about like Iron Man or an action movie or a comedy movie. How many different sets there are? How many different...
The C plot too.
Right. These movies, one spot, Predator. Predator is literally a group of mercenaries go into the jungle because they have to save some people, and then they run into the Predator there. And it's like the six mercenary. I mean, you've seen like the Expendables.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that. It's like these are the go-to guys that you want to do your job. Psycho is a handful of people in a motel. Jurassic Park, they're stuck on an island with dinosaurs. Shawshank's a little bit bigger just because it's a prison. There's a lot of people. There's characters that come and go. It's also, it spans a guy's time in prison. So a lot of,
Right.
Stand By Me is a couple kids on a 3-day camping trip. The Prestige has multiple characters, and obviously being magic, there's a lot of different sets. This guy's theater. This guy travels to meet somebody. There's more involved. But I'm a huge fan of movies where there's not a lot of changing of the sets and not a lot of characters. It's very dialogue heavy, very plot and twist heavy. Those are movies I like. You know what I mean? Because they're not going to distract you with, wow, that CGI was so good. It distracts me from how boring the plot was, as compared to a movie like Avatar. Visually, it's amazing, but I don't really like Avatar. Nothing, nothing stands out. None of the performances aren't amazing. It's just, it looks really cool, so people like it. But you go ahead and talk for a minute. I need a beverage.
This guy needs to take a swig. Yeah, so those are Kyle's top 10 favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Next episode is going to be a Clue review. We're going to talk about the movie Clue, as it might imply by the term Clue review.
Yeah.
Episode 3 is going to be the Reservoir Dogs. I just learned that saying reservoir is just very weird.
Reservoir, yeah.
It's a word that just sounds weird when you say it, and I think I'm going to pronounce it really weird a bunch of times. That'll be episode 3.
Yeah.
We're going to be uploading these bi-weekly, so these 3 episodes are going to cover 6 weeks, and by then,
that's a good
Kyle
idea.
usually comes and hangs out with me every 2 months or so. So hopefully
That's
there's
a really good idea.
hopefully there's not much of a gap where we're not uploading consistently. Speaking of consistency, though, I also like ranking things.
Yeah, sorry.
and
I'll
while-
save mine.
My top 100 songs weren't ranked in order.
Right.
I wanted to have something physical that was like, these are my top 100 songs.
Mm-hmm.
They're all here, and now I can reference it. If I'm listening to a song, and go, man, I really like this.
Right.
I think me and you both are kind of people that are like, oh, this is in my top whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I like lists. Probably
I do too.
Probably part of the OCD I feel like I have. It's like I got to have some something to go back to, you know.
But I noticed me and you both do that. I almost do it with anything. Like, I'll eat a piece of pizza and be like, this is a top 10 piece of pizza. And it's like, there's no reason to add that detail, but it's just something I say. And I love music. So one night I just couldn't fall asleep. Surprise, surprise, this whole list is a product of my insomnia. And I was listening to If I Can Dream by Elvis. And I said, a year ago, I didn't like a single song by Elvis. You got me. I
remember.
You got me to be like, okay, Suspicious Mind, okay, whatever. I remember the first times we hung out, I had just gotten Rock Band 4, and you were like, oh my God, Suspicious Minds is on this. And I was like Elvis? Is this dude my grandma? Like, what the hell is he so uptight about Elvis being on
It's
here?
funny because, like, Suspicious Minds is in, like, one of my top 10 favorite songs ever, and you had, like, never heard it. It's funny how that works.
It is. And so I'm listening to If I Can Dream at, like, 1 a.m. And I go, again, to reiterate, I didn't know this song a year ago. I probably would have just said Elvis sucks a year ago just to piss you off.
I remember being on the end. I remember being on the end of those
all too well. And I mean, so I was just sitting there and I go, that's so crazy because now this is like a top 10 song to me. Mm-hmm. And I go, wouldn't that be cool to have like evidence that this is one of my favorite songs? And so I just added to the playlist.
That's why I like doing that. And especially with music, you'd be surprised how many songs, like a song you've never heard before, and it's like, what? I love that song. Mm-hmm. Movies, it's a little tougher because you've heard probably something about them, you know. Even if you've never seen it, you've heard about it.
Right.
With a song, you may never know, you know.
And much like you, I'm not saying these are the top 100 songs of all time because as much as I pride myself on, I listen to country, rap, rock, alt rock, whatever. It's impossible. I probably haven't listened to half as much music as some people, and whatever. I don't go find small indie artists. I support some artists that are smaller in terms of they were relevant for a small pocket of time, but I don't go and find a band with 400 listeners on Spotify. And in the indie music scene, they dropped one of the best albums of 2016 and then did it again in 2018. But how would I know?
How would you know? Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to dive into this. Other than the fact of, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to touch on, but
I have some questions for you after you talk, but
the main thing that went into this was I didn't want to overload it with my favorite artists.
Right.
As you know, like Blink-182 is my favorite band, and I'm well aware of their music. There's people who say it's corny, and it's hard to come up with a counter argument, but I found them at the right time. That confused teenager, confused young adult time period was relevant. So I tried to limit it to about under three songs or less.
I like that. I think if I made one of these, I'd struggle to do that, but I think you have to do that.
Because I got to Billy Joel and was like, Scenes, Vienna, Piano Man. I go, well.
Yeah, what about Goodnight Saigon?
I go, She's Always a Woman, Uptown Girl. So it goes. I could have about 15 Billy Joel songs on here. Because technically, from a musically speaking standpoint, that's better than some other songs that are on here, like Since You've Been Gone.
Sure.
And some of the Blink-182 songs and other pop punk, pop songs, some Taylor Swift songs maybe. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I don't maybe enjoy them as much as these other songs.
Right. Well, and that's what's important about making it yours. You know what I mean?
And so I think it's well represented. There's a whole section that's rap, and it's not just Eminem or somebody. There's some Tupac. There's some Notorious B.I.G., Lil Wayne.
That's right.
I think it's well represented. A lot of my genre, pretty much every genre that I listen to is on here. I combed all of my playlists. And it's gotten to a point where I'm proud of it. Like, I look at this and I go, you know what? I feel like this is a very accurate representation. Obviously, if you're doing something like this, you're going to miss a couple of songs that you probably would put on there.
I've got one, but
you know what? It's got everything I would say to make a great foundation. And if I think of something, I have like 5 songs right here where I could go, these are probably 96 through 100. They can get dropped.
Right.
If I find another song, that's got to be on there.
Oh yeah, and I was gonna say there's always songs like that where it's like, I like it, but like a one-hit wonder or something where it catches you in the right mood, but maybe it's not. Like me with Achy Breaky Heart. I love that song, but is it really one of the best songs ever? No, I just like it a lot. It's catchy to me. And I didn't grow up when it was played 100 times in a day. I remember texting you that Sister Golden Hair made the list because that was another recent one that I have listened to for a while that you liked. I lost it, but I don't need it. I have a couple just generic questions.
I was gonna roast my whole music.
No.
Sit back and enjoy.
My first note was that it was definitely impressive to conceive. I don't know if I could narrow mine down because now I have a playlist on there that's just called Tunes or My Tunes or whatever.
This is very infamous within our circles.
It is because any song that I like goes in there.
Someone goes, I need some new music. And Kyle just like comes up from the ground and goes, have you listened to the Tunes playlist?
Oh, that's interesting. Have you? I send the link to my Spotify. But any song I like goes in there. Sorry, there's something I was going to get into, but I'll save it. So any song I like goes in there. And it's like the radio. Mm-hmm. That way in the car, I just hit shuffle. Cool. If I want to skip around, cool. If I'm in the mood to just listen to music. The problem with that playlist is you inevitably get songs that I added a long time ago that I don't care for as much. Mm-hmm. Like Elvis now. I haven't always liked Elvis. I like Elvis a lot. I probably like him more than most people my age. But then I'll get a song like All Shook Up, Jailhouse Rock, Hound Dog, and it's like, do I really need this on my playlist? Like, I skip it every time. I don't really care for Hound Dog. Once you've heard Suspicious Minds, and If I Can Dream, and Burn in Love, and Promised Land.
Gosh. I heard Burn in Love that one day around Christmas time, and I said, this needs to be talked about.
Right.
I'm sure it was when it came out. But.
Exactly. And like, how much better is that than Hound Dog, even though more people know him for Hound Dog? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like his early stuff is just a little bit too perfect for that time period. You know, It didn't age as well as...
Rockabilly, kind of.
Exactly. Just like Johnny Cash. He's got great songs, and then he's got a couple where it's like, I mean, that was catchy, but for that time, it was catchy. It's not Hurt or Walk the Line or... I thought I was impressed that you were able to do that and also have the responsibility not to just load it full of Blink-182 or with me Led Zeppelin and Bob Seger, because I think that's where I would struggle. Do I probably like 10 Led Zeppelin songs before I like one Elton John song? Yes. Should I even it? Probably. Or Billy Joel or, pick your artist. I was going to say, do you think out of that you could do, it's a loose ranking, do you think you could lock in a top 10 out of that? And I kind of have a follow-up to that if you can't.
If I looked at it long enough, probably.
You think you could?
I'm scrolling right here while you were asking me that. Yeah. I'm looking at the top 25. There's probably 2 or 3 in the top 25 that I could say are solidly in the top 10.
Now, are those somewhat in order?
The first half?
Yeah.
Or like any of it?
Just in general?
Not really. It's more genre related because, like I said,
that's what
I
it
went
looks
through my
like.
playlist, and I have a rap playlist, I have a rock playlist, I have a punk alt playlist, I have a modern pop playlist. You know, so it's kind of just clumped together. And as I combed through my playlist,
you kind of went
take
through
a shot every time I said playlist in that sentence. The last 30 seconds, you'd be on the floor. So to answer that question, no.
Okay.
They're not. There's no part of it that's really in any consistent order. Maybe the top half because I just thought of songs I really liked at the beginning.
Right. Well,
but again, even looking at these top 25-ish, that carries on for a bit, but it doesn't go on that long.
Okay. Well, and my follow-up to that is the last time, I think it was the last time I was here, so not the Christmas episode because that was back home, but last time I was here, we talked about our top 5 favorite songs. Mm-hmm. And yours were, 1 was Stairway, 2 was Not Now, Blink-182, 3 was Hotel California, 4, Heart of Life by John Mayer, and 5 was Black by Pearl Jam. Mm-hmm. After making this list, you think that's changed at all? Would you sub any of them out? Or maybe put one higher than the other?
Scenes should probably be on there.
That's exact. I literally have right under that, If I Can Dream and Scenes. Are those in the top 10? And if not, the top 5?
Scenes is probably...
It's in my 5.
This changes so. Anytime we do something like this, we talk about how much it changes so much.
That's why I figured I'd bring it up because it's so hard to stay. Music changes so much more than movies and TV. I feel like
I would.
Music
Scenes has to be top 5.
Music's so mood driven. You know what I mean? I could drive home from work and listen to Scenes from an Italian Restaurant every day for a week, and then the next week I could drive home and listen to Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. You know what I mean? It's all mood driven. In the summer, I listen to louder rock music because I can put the windows down and blast it. In the winter, I listen to quieter, sad music because I have to have the windows up and I'm cold. You know what I mean? Like, it's so mood heavy. I just didn't know if your 5 had changed
No,
at all.
I agree with that. The mood setting. Sorry, I burped and lost my train of thought.
No, that's all right.
Professional podcast. Here's another one. But I listened to the Eagles a lot more since our last conversation.
Yeah.
That episode never made air, so don't go looking for it. By the
Oh,
way.
did it not?
I don't think so.
Oh,
no.
I'm sorry.
No,
I
you're
didn't mean
good. No, that was one of the corrupted ones.
Oh, well, we can always just
We were on our
revisit that or
streak.
something.
But I listened to the Eagles a lot more the last 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Hotel California is even on this playlist. And
Is it not? That's funny. There's one song on there I wanted to ask why it
It's-
isn't on
It's
there.
it probably is. Again, this wasn't perfect. This was made at like 2 a.m. and then the next day or two I thought of some changes.
Well, yeah, it's inevitable too.
Take It to the Limit's on there though, and that's
Great.
probably my favorite Eagles song. Now that
Okay.
I've listened to more of their catalog, it's beautiful. The harmonies, Take It Easy might have surpassed Hotel California as well. There's
Okay.
something that's really calming in.
Take It Easy's good.
I
like,
don't know if curious is the right word, but there's something about looking forward to times ahead and Take It Easy.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's the message of the song, I don't know.
It has an easy sound to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's an easy listen. Not to keep saying the word easy.
So, yeah. Now
Gotcha.
go ahead and try to stump me because I know you've been building up to it. So I'll be a man and I'll sit here and take it.
All right, I only got like 2 more serious questions. The first, I have an instant opinion, and I forgot my instant opinion for the movie, so I'll hit you with a double time.
I don't think you're ready for my instant opinion. So
Oh boy, that's good.
I have 2 of them, and I don't think you're ready for the second one. I'll look you dead in the eye and tell you that.
That's awesome. I'll explain these when we get to them.
And there's going to be a whole group of people watching that are going to judge you very harshly if you get this wrong.
Wow. Okay.
How's that for an opinion?
All right. Well, my quick question before we get into those is, why isn't One by Metallica on that playlist?
You know,
You have Fade to Black, and you've told me before it's your favorite. I feel like One should be in
One-
everybody's top 100 somewhere.
one is probably like 103.
Okay,
if
fair
it's
enough.
not on this playlist. Yeah,
That's,
that's a song that I would have to think about.
Fair
because
enough. Fair enough.
that song has a good argument to be on there.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to look you in the eye and go, well, I don't think it belonged on here because no, that song definitely has an argument. And
Okay.
again, it could fluctuate so much. Not to do the politician cop-out answer.
No.
I could find something on here that I definitely don't like as much as One if I sat here and looked at it long enough.
And it was more of a joke, too, because me and you both love
It did
that
sound
song.
like a joke.
So now my instant opinion, and for anybody who
Go ahead.
has since joined us but wasn't around for our early episodes, the whole point of these, the format used to be we would talk about a movie or TV, sports, and music. One topic from everything, every episode. That was the original plan for the show. And then after each topic, there would be an instant opinion that was like, you didn't have time to prepare for it. It's a question that Nick hasn't seen that I've prepared. That way he's got to give an on-the-spot, quick answer, and you can't dance around it. Now, inevitably, we would ask each other a tough question on the spot that would lead to a lot of hemming and hawing because how do you rank Steven Spielberg movies when you're not thinking about it?
It's funny when this started because me and you were convinced we were going to get in a screaming match and just not speak for a month.
Yeah, and it never turned
It
out
hasn't
as
happened
fiery.
yet. And now he's 2 hours away from his house, so
Yeah, now
if it happens now, he's kind of screwed.
now I'm far from home. So I'll go back real quick to the movie one. I didn't know. Do you have a favorite movie? My instant opinion would just be, what's your favorite movie? I know you're not a big movie guy, so I didn't know if you've got one yet. Which is
Credit to Kyle. My favorite movie is The Departed. I can
it is?
maybe it's not the movie I've enjoyed the most, but it's a great flick. Regardless of how you cut it, it's a
Right.
top 5 movie to me.
Sure.
In terms of the best movie that I've seen, it's probably that.
Okay.
It's probably that one.
No, that's. I'm jealous in the sense that I think anybody who's experienced a lot of movies, when you find someone who hasn't seen them, like the movies we're going to review, and the movies on my top 10 that you've seen none of, I'm jealous that I can't go back and watch
wow.
that for the first
He's
time.
jealous of me.
And so I just didn't know if you go, no, I haven't really found one that really is confidently my favorite. But that's cool, The Departed. And it's cool that The Departed's great. But I feel like you'll probably find a movie out there one day that you might like better.
Perhaps.
Me, I don't know. I might.
He's seen them all.
No.
Rogue One.
Awful.
Kyle hates Rogue One.
I don't like anything new out of Star
time.
Wars. Oh, wait, one more. Sorry. What's your number one song? Is it still Stairway?
number one.
And do you
song.
ever see it changing, which is kind of
Probably Friday by Rebecca Black.
okay.
It's Friday. No. Stairway.
It's tough. Stairways.
It's Stairway.
What's tough is there's nothing wrong with Stairway. It is a perfect song.
It feels like a cop out though, and I usually don't
does.
care about that, but it matters to me right now.
Right. Well, and I've always said mine is Stand By Me, and like I have a feeling that's never gonna change.
It's Stairway, Scenes, or oh my gosh, by
Not
Vienna.
Vienna. You know what's funny? Vienna came on the playlist today, and I was like, that might be his second best song ever. I know Goodnight Saigon's great, but Vienna might be the second. That song is great, and that was one that I had never heard until like
Photograph
more
by Nickelback.
recently.
Just kidding.
No, it's
No, Vienna. Vienna's great.
fair enough. I just figured I'd see.
So hopeful, in a way.
I think sometimes I'm a little too bold. Like
Makes you reminisce, but remain hopeful. It's a good tune.
it's a good tune. I'm pretty locked in on my favorites with stuff, and I feel like sometimes that could be my downfall. Like, oh, Reservoir Dogs, I'm kind of
It's
like
not budging.
I got the blinders on, and I
got
might be
tunnel
missing.
vision.
Yeah, I might be missing something.
Sorry for those who had to just watch that on YouTube.
That was a little rough.
The binoculars or eyeglass.
All right, I'm ready.
I am ready as well.
Take one more
But before I give my instant opinion,
Oh boy.
I need to ask you who your favorite NFL announcer is.
Oh, that's right. And I have an instant opinion for that one. I'll get all mine out of the way since yours are so good.
We don't need to spend long on this.
No, I have 3 bullet points.
Okay, that's what I had too. I memorized mine.
2 of them barely matter.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke on this season 1, episode 5. Favorite announcers, not NFL.
Oh, okay.
Currently, my favorite is Al Michaels in terms of play-by-play, colored commentator, Tony Romo. He's young. He's definitely, how often does he say, yup, he's going to run the sweep. They're going to throw it out to the left. Kelsey's going to be open over the middle, and they do it.
Mm-hmm.
You mean that one time with Brady and Gronk, I think it was the year the Bucks won the Super Bowl, and he called like 3 plays in a row, exactly what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool when you see a guy do that, and it's more than just a very vague description of what the guy just did and why it was impressive. He can kind of predict what's going to happen, and it's nice having a young NFL quarterback, NFL thinking commentator. And Al Michaels is just, one of the best to ever do it. And that's really all I got. I like Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson a lot. Those are my 2 favorite,
Good
but they're
college
college.
duo.
Yeah, they're college.
They're probably my favorite.
Yeah, Joel Klatt.
The new announcer shakeups in the NFL have not been too well received on my end.
No. You know how I feel about Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Jim Nance.
They've grown on me, Buck and Aikman.
They're not as bad as I used to think they were, but I still prefer. I wish Michaels and Romo could be together. I think that would be the best possible combo.
I was impressed with Buck and Aikman's handling of the DeMar Hamlin stuff. Like, that was very professional.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And
They
I
do a
do
good
think
job of
they're a little more energetic than people give them credit for.
Yeah, they're not old. They're not like so old that it's like boring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They keep it
but,
interesting.
Gus and Joel Klatt would blow any NFL group out of the booth. So,
Easy. Joel Klatt
Joel
is just
Klatt's good.
the stuff he
I
just
love Joel
knows
Klatt.
and the stat
That
preparing
dude's
he
an
does.
encyclopedia.
He is so good.
My favorite is Jim Nance. Sorry. I know you don't like Jim Nance.
Mine is a personal made-up vendetta, so you go
I think
ahead.
his golf commentary is excellent.
It is
He
excellent.
knows how to milk the moment and let it speak for itself. Is he perfect? No, but no one is.
It's good.
But I've always enjoyed Nance. Al Michaels was my favorite, but I don't want to say phoning it in, but it's clear that the energy he once had is not there. And I know you
Sure.
can't fault the guy for
Getting
getting
old,
older and
right.
not being as sharp as he once, being as good as he once was.
That's on the list.
If you watch, he got a bunch of crap, the Jacksonville Chargers game,
You were telling me about that. Just
because he was just lifeless and
Yeah.
there was this insane comeback. And I kind of feel that way a lot of the time when he watches it. Granted, he does Thursday night now,
right.
and they give him, ITT Tech versus DeVry University to commentate on Thursday night.
It's tough.
From an NFL standpoint, and it's tough to get excited about a lot of those games.
No,
but
that's exactly it.
There's something in him that isn't as good as he used to be. He's still my number 2.
Right.
With that being said, though, this might be very bold. But I've really liked Kirk Herbstreit in the NFL. I know he messes up and botches things once in a while, and yeah, that's kind of unprofessional in that scale. But this is a guy who's doing Thursday night and then going out and doing
Saturday
game day
night
on Saturday. It's very impressive. I feel like he brings a good energy, and even with the miscues, his knowledge is there, and I enjoy listening to him and his insight on the game and his outlook on what's happening.
No, I see where you're coming from. I'm pretty sure he'll do game day, leave game day, fly somewhere, and then he commentates the night game. Like game day is like just the pre-show, and then he'll commentate the night game with Fowler, I think his last name is?
Chris Fowler.
Which is nuts. You know what I mean? Like he's talking about one game, and then he's going to go fly and commentate a totally different game with totally different implications, because obviously with college, unless he was talking about 2 Big Ten games, that's a lot to keep track of.
Right.
Yeah, that I agree with both those picks. The reason I hold the grudge on Jim Nantz is I felt he was rooting for Patrick Mahomes, and that's only because I was so angry the Bills blew it, so I had to come up with a reason to blame someone.
I thought I was going to get punched over Jim Nantz.
No. I just make things up because it makes me angry.
I got 2 instant opinions, but why don't you round out yours first here?
Sure. This is actually a repeat of the instant opinion from that original episode I cited. One, would you rather be a colored commentator or a play-by-play?
Play-by-play.
I'm pretty sure that's what you said the last time.
I never played
5 years
sports
ago
on a grand enough scale to have the insight
for the
color
Sure.
commentary spot.
I think you'd fit well with play-by-play. The quickness, the snappiness is efficient. And which sport?
Myself on football.
Which sport? I mean, I figured, but
football or baseball? Because if you're doing a team like the Pirates and they stink, you just go up there and talk about anything you want to after like the 3rd inning when they're already losing. We just played footsie.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kick you.
That's okay. But yeah, football or baseball, I think.
Baseball's nice because it's chill.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You don't
did
have
hockey
to be
in college, and it's fun because hockey's arguably the best sport to watch. Maybe not even arguably.
We should talk about that sometime.
But it might be. It's fast. It's really fast, and I may be quick-witted, but I'm not good enough to look and memorize 40 players and know by number who has the puck for what team, and the pronunciations are insane, and
they're all switching
too. There's
40
consonants in their names, and Ski has the puck.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's just not for me. Some Polish guy and Finnish guy passing back and forth, and I'm supposed to know their names. Nothing against those people. I am very much Polish, but
it's like 19 seconds is the average time they're on the ice, something like that.
Yeah,
I know it's
crazy.
It's not a minute.
It just moves quick.
Yeah.
I never did basketball, but I think because basketball was the sport I probably played the longest, that I would be decent at it.
That one would be fun to commentate, only because it's very easy to follow and just say what you're watching. Where with hockey, you can say what you're watching, but if you're not watching the puck itself, you're going to lose it. It's not a basketball, That's it. That's all I got for you. That was it. Kyle. It was just a straight repeat, copy and paste.
This one's tough. This isn't the big one, but this one's tough too.
Is this for the announcers?
I'm not sure about my answer. Yeah, this is the sports related one.
Okay.
What is the best jersey in sports?
The best jersey in sports.
Don't say New Jersey.
New Jersey. The best jersey in sports. Man, I hate to go quiet for too long, but
it's tough.
It is
like
tough.
I said, I've been thinking about this one for a while.
Best jersey in sports.
Let me see what the internet says while we're talking here.
I really liked. I would probably have to go with some old NBA jersey. Would be my guess. The Supersonics lime green was nice. The old Utah Jazz with the purple and the mountain. They brought them back this year. The retro jerseys. Those are really good. I like the Miami Heat, Miami Vice jerseys. The pink. But those are just an easy layup. Pun intended, obviously. Yeah, I would say it's definitely got to be basketball. Right? I can't think of a football jersey that's that good.
I was going to say, like, the Lakers, just the wine and gold.
Sure.
Wine and gold. Well, not wine. The purple and gold.
Yeah.
Wine's what they use for the Cavs. I don't know why I thought that was something you could use for either of those teams.
If we're talking football, I'd have to go with an Ohio State jersey. I'm a fan of Ohio State, but when they get the all black and red or all gray and red, oh my gosh.
I think the Raiders is cool just because of the history. Yeah. I'm a big history guy. The internet says the Yankees, and I won't give them any credit. Sorry to the Yankees. Pittsburgh, I'm super biased, obviously, but Their whole city has the same color scheme, so it's cool to see that.
It is, yeah. Is that the only? That's got to be the only
I think
city
they're the
like
only
that.
major city.
That's pretty sweet.
do
I never
that.
even put that together. You're right. That's dope. I know what isn't the best jersey, and that's the Bumblebee Steelers
Okay,
jerseys.
well that's not real, so don't
those
bring
are
that up.
those are bad.
All right,
Sorry.
here's the other one. I'm not
Jersey or
No.
Oh, question.
No,
Okay,
I'm
okay.
just getting into it because frankly, you've been smirking for too long.
all right? Is this music or
Oh, this is freestyle.
freestyle?
And had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at my fiance's parents' house
All right.
a couple weeks ago. The question was presented to me: strawberry or grape jelly? Kyle Berger,
Oh, this is
strawberry or grape
this is
jelly?
an easy layup, and I'm not going to apologize. It's grape.
Wow.
Grape jelly.
Wow.
Yeah, and I have been yelled at by our one friend who makes fun of my eating habits quite extensively in the Xbox party chat. Grape. If I'm making an actual peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I'm using white bread, grape jelly, and chunky peanut butter.
Whoa.
Here's my problem, and I'll be honest with you, I flip flopped on this. So people put sprinkles on ice cream because they want texture. That's essentially you want
They're
something.
just fun.
Or sure, they're fun, but you want something to chew with your ice cream because you don't want just a goopy mess. Fine. I don't see it that way. Sprinkles add nothing, is my opinion. Rainbow sprinkles add nothing to ice cream, is my opinion. However, I like chunky peanut butter because if you've got soft bread, soft jelly, and soft peanut butter, you're going to take a bite and you're just going to get a bite of goop. And I'm a big texture food guy. I don't like mashed potatoes. I don't like that texture. It's a very goopy texture, so I like chunky peanut butter because it adds a crunch to the sandwich. Call me crazy. I like it cold.
I could think of a lot of things to call you,
Call
but
me
I won't
crazy.
do it because you're my friend.
That's one. It's funny you asked me this because I've had this debate with people, and so that's why I'm so firm on it.
I was scared you were going to say I don't like peanut butter and jelly.
No, I mean, do I eat them all the time?
Your last name's Burger, and you don't
No.
eat burgers, so I don't think I was
Sure.
flawed in being concerned about that. But
That one's more of the situation. When I was younger about eating burgers, I was always presented, you want a hamburger or a hot dog? And hot dogs were always there, and I always liked hot dogs, so I never got into burgers.
Wow.
I have since tried burgers, and I don't mind them. It's just more a habit of never ordering one.
I see. I never knew that
But-
story.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you know why I always ate hot dogs.
Yeah.
So
I meant the part where you actually have tried a burger.
I tried a Big
Don't
Mac
mind.
a month ago. Not too.
Wow.
Look
at him.
A bite of a Big Mac. I didn't hate it. It was just I've always ordered nuggets and fries.
Doesn't
I know it's
change
just a
his
habit.
trash opinions on peanut butter and jelly, but you know what? We'll be adults.
Now,
We'll be
hang
adults.
on. Now, what did you answer the question with? Strawberry.
Strawberry.
I could probably count on my
Listen,
hands
listen,
how many times
listen.
I've had strawberry.
Grape jelly's fine, but if the opportunity presents strawberry jelly, you got to go with strawberry jelly.
And I'll be fair with you. I've probably had a strawberry jelly peanut butter and jelly sandwich 5 times or less. So maybe my opinion, maybe I'm just stuck in my ways and I haven't tried a
Well,
solid
if
strawberry
we
jelly
referred
sandwich.
to a couple minutes ago when you were talking about list, you said you could be stuck with your ways, and that's when I made the obscene gesture with my hands
That's
over
it.
my eyeballs. So
That is it. You said your fiance's? What did everybody else have? Did anybody laugh at you for strawberry?
No, I was told confidently that's the right answer.
But they had both strawberry and grape.
I mean, you can have both, but still acknowledge one's better than the other. I think.
Sure. I just
Everyone,
you would think most people would have one or the other.
the person that mattered said it was the right answer. The one that mattered most said it was the right answer. So I was nothing else really mattered. Then is that a kiss ass response potentially? But I did good, coach.
I'm gonna. That's fair. Agree to disagree. The chunky peanut butter, though, I
can't get peanut butter
It's
bits
al-
in my peanut butter.
have you had chunky peanut butter?
I have.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. I
because
think
you get the real peanut.
when you said agree to disagree, I couldn't have said it better because this will be debated for the rest
like
of time.
in all seriousness, if I was like not starving but decently hungry, and it was PB&J creamy, PB&J chunky, I'd probably either do chunky or just not eat.
You're a madman.
I don't like that glob of.
He's a man with an opinion.
That's it.
This is Have an Opinion, the
correct.
podcast.
That is correct.
If you didn't watch that on video, that probably sounded really stupid, so go check that out.
Was that the?
That's it.
That was the one.
That's all. We've been at an hour, so
I
that's
thought there was
perfect
another.
end.
I thought there was another
It's the
instant opinion
perfect
coming.
end to that one.
I thought you were going to break me completely
No,
with another
no.
grueling question.
Kyle, we're going to record 2 more of these in the next 24 hours. Any final thoughts for this particular episode, though? Anything you want to mention here?
I'm excited to be back. That was
Yeah,
fun.
me
I
too.
mean, I could sit here and talk about movies for hours just because
You
I
could.
appreciate movies a lot.
could.
But it was fun. I'm glad to be back. I'm looking forward to doing the reviews. We decided to change up the roles, so I'll be the one doing the review. You'll be adding it in since it was the first
Yes.
time watching. You can kind of give me what you thought as the movie went on. And I'm excited. I hope you liked them.
Yeah. 2 weeks from now, we're going to review Clue, and we'll probably be in the same outfits because if our plans have remained the same, we're going to record that right now. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll see each other in 2 seconds. Take care of yourselves, and always remember, have an opinion.